welcome to Game Day Battle, where Cleveland sports news meets bias and outspoken opinion. We're back after a little hiatus there, and a lot of activity in the Cleveland scene, obviously. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's just go down the table because it's been a little while. DS.
Hey, what's up, Cleveland?
And
glad to be back.
Yeah, and still sporting some Browns love.
I am. It's still football season. I figured I'd wear my Josh Gordon jersey one more time because I don't know if he'll be back next year.
It could end, anytime.
Who knows?
It could just end.
Who knows?
The Gordon era in Cleveland. So, well, it's good to be back with you, Dale.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Missed you guys.
Ramon Torres, a.k.a. Lumberjack Man. Now, I haven't seen the guy with that. Look at that.
I didn't say since our live show.
Is that the only time you like shower and shave?
Yeah.
No shave November is just for November.
Yeah.
I thought they extended it.
He thought it went until next November.
You liked it.
Like you don't shave between the Novembers ever.
Actually, I went into a hiatus a little bit,
Did you go hide in some caves?
Yeah.
Huh?
I found a volleyball.
Wilson.
Well, Brett Finnegan, to my right, and I'll just share a little bit of info. This guy is getting married. Yeah, no, really.
Yeah,
Actually, we got a highlight on this. Can we go to the tape? Can we go to the tape?
You got tape?
Yeah, we had tape.
That's not a good start. That's not a good start. That's not a good start.
So very cool, and we're all happy for you, and she's a cool chick. So well done. And actually, you did it on New Year's Eve day, right, or New Year's Day?
It would be New Year's Day at the time, about 12:45.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So so you got the little New Year's kiss in, and then pop the question.
Yeah, that and a lot more. You making babies already?
Yeah. We're happy for you, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
there's bigger and better things on the horizon for the both of you, and new house and stuff possibly coming up. I know you've talked about looking for a house. So
looking for houses right now and making it official.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Make it happen. So I am Mike Glass. I'm extremely excited to be back with these guys. While we were gone, and we had some time off, we had holidays and all this other stuff going on, so we just took a little break back, and there was a little bit of activity in Berea with the Browns, and we have a new coach. Chud the Dud is out. Sorry, that was just, I heard that and I thought it fit. So, but I don't think anybody at this table really wanted him to be fired. We're going to have to make the case to fire him anyway. And it's interesting because then you really get to look at him from a sort of a managerial perspective and why you would want to fire this guy. What case could you make to fire him? But let's look at the really big news in Cleveland. The thing that's the most dramatic shift for Cleveland sports in a little while at least, and that is Luol Deng is now wearing wine and gold, and I think that is a sensational change. Yeah, I'll give it some applause. Sensational change and sensational a trade that we made for a guy that was done here. We weren't going to play him ever again. We were going to dump him before I think the 12th, which is when he got a bunch of his money. So for nothing, we basically got a player that this regime with the Cavs wanted and has been targeting for a while. It's amazing, and it's a great effort by them.
Good, ready, do it, go.
So 1 year after Haslam and Banner said they were going to pick Chudzinski because he was the guy. Their guy, somebody that they believed in. And if you remember right, they didn't wait till the end of the season even. They didn't really check the whole array of coaches out. They went for, Chip Kelly? Chip Kelly. He said, no, I'm not going to go to Cleveland, but I'll go anywhere else. And, of course, he went to Philadelphia. And right after he said no, they went right and grabbed Chudzinski. Almost like, there was their 1 and 2 guy. They couldn't get their 1 guy. Well, the 2 guy is just about as good. Let's just grab him. They said a lot of good things about him. People weren't happy about the fact that he was not a guy with head coaching experience. But they said that's okay. They can work with him. They're going to build him. He's going to be so much a part of this organization. What was it, a 4-year, 5-year deal? I think 4-year deal. That's pretty big. And they owe him for that. They are paying him for that right now. So it's 1 year. They gutted the team for him. They traded away his best offensive weapon in Trent Richardson. Good trade or not, Fact is, he was their best offensive weapon at that point, and they traded him away. He had nobody to work with, 3 different quarterbacks, and yet they, for some reason, found some reason that they're not telling us what to get rid of the guy. So here's the challenge right now to this table. Dale, we'll start with you.
Of course.
You look the least prepared, so I got to pick on you.
But I am prepared.
All right, so tell me a good reason for firing Chudzinski if it was in your charge to do so.
I've heard a couple rumors coming around, listening to Cleveland Sports Talk Radio, and I heard some type of rumor that, they wanted Chud to cut Greg Little and Brandon Weeden between week 12 and 13. And he refused to do that. He didn't make that move. Now, that's all speculation. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just, what everybody's talking about. If that's the case, I don't think that's a reason to fire a coach. The last thing you want to do is when your season's already lost, why start axing guys in the middle of the season and cost them money, and it was around the holidays even, does that really play into the factor? And, you might be able to dismiss that as no, but you might be able to say, yeah, they have a relationship with these guys. Maybe he told them, I'm not going to come in here and just shake things up. I'm going to give all these guys a year, and, that could have been a deal that Chud made with the front office. Like, let's see what we have for this year and how they respond to Chud, and then cut guys. Let's not do it in the middle of the season here and make ourselves look like, we're desperate, even though Brandon Weeden was playing like he sure as hell deserved to be cut. I can definitely say that.
Yeah.
If I had to come up with a reason to fire him, no doubt it would be that last stretch of 7 games. We should have definitely beaten Jacksonville. We should have definitely beaten the Jets. The way that we were playing against the quality teams week in and week out, it's like we really just went to sleep on these garbage teams that we thought that we should have beaten. That loss to New England was rough to swallow, but there was no progression throughout the second half of the season. It was an abysmal regression. I see that. I see what the front office saw, but at the same time, like you mentioned, the moves that were made throughout the year were not going to spell postseason. We made some steps in the right direction. We won 2 division games. That's one more than we won the year before. We broke our streak against Baltimore and actually got a W against them. And we beat Cincinnati. They were a perennial playoff team. They won the division. So, there was some progress, but in the end, I guess that 7-game losing streak was just too much for these guys to try to overlook. And, when you hire a guy like that, that's your guy, they went out and did it. You cannot pull the plug on that guy after 1 year and expect not to look like a tool, or expect the fans to not be like, what the hell's going on? You told us this was not what was going to happen, and it's happening already. I just don't understand it.
So do you think in the eyes of the national media, fans, that this regime has pretty much lost credibility?
I want to go to that news conference where the guy called them the Three Stooges.
Yes.
Now, he was only quoting a fan post, but have you ever heard a member of the press address an owner like that and literally dog him on camera, where his reaction is going to be well publicized?
Yeah.
That goes and shows you a lot right there, and it really raises a lot of questions. I'm going to let you guys touch on your points, and then when you throw it back to me, I got a little conspiracy theory that I think might be an underlining issue here, but I don't want to.
And Dale, we always trust that you'll have the conspiracy theory for
If it wasn't worth it, I wouldn't bring it.
Yeah, all right,
but
all right,
it's some food for thought.
All right, let me just jump across the table here. Brett Finnegan. So Dale cites maybe a little bit of a slide at the end of the season as a possible reason. If you had to make the case, it was in your charge to fire this guy, what case would you make to the press?
It would have to be the games, the stretch in the last year that we lost 7 straight. Also, we had the lead in all those games, and we lost every single lead. And that's probably one of those, probably one of the reasons that we couldn't hold on to the lead. And, it's something that I would look forward to, and, trying to, if we had the lead, we should be able to hold on to it. And, as a head coach, it's your responsibility to hold on to that. And to me, that'd be a good reason to fire the guy. And the 7 games at the end there was just tough for as a Browns fan. And, we were promised something better, and it wasn't delivered. So that would be my reason for firing.
So kind of like there was a lack of fight in them, a lack of desire to really take that next step and finish the game out, close the game out.
Exactly. first half of those games, they had a lot of fight and all that. Second half, I don't know what happened in the locker room after that halftime, but it looked like they just went to sleep afterwards. They didn't keep up the fight throughout the whole game. And, as an NFL team, that looks pretty pitiful.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got basically a slide possibly caused by the fact that he wasn't able to get these guys in game mode in the fourth quarter, late in the game when it really mattered, and able to keep these games together. So Ramon, we're kind of putting together a package of some pretty dismal stuff. If you had to make the case to get rid of Chudzinski, what would you stand at the press box and say?
That he didn't bring to the table what we thought he was going to bring, and you would get that out of a non-head coach before you hired him. He was never a head coach. He has no head coaching experience. So when situations present themselves, you see how he was like lost, not calling timeouts when they need to be called. Stuff like that. And he got no hold of that locker room. Dale made a good point where, guys he should have cut. Why wouldn't you go cut those guys? If the head up front office says to do something, even though it might be a rumor, but you go do it. These are guys that are costing you games, and we go back in shows past, and I made a statement saying, hey, your job can be on the line. No, that's his first year. He ain't gonna get fired. And you seen it happen. The guy got hired. You know what I mean?
It happened.
This team right here, and this proves it. They are not playing around. They want to win, and they're gonna try their hardest. To get this city a winning team. And I'm all for it. Fire the guy. Why waste another year of a guy making Pat Shermer calls and Butch Davis calls, all these stupid wasting years when we don't have years to waste.
Well, so you think that maybe it was the way he was running the team, you're saying, that they saw, and
you can see that with the losses, like Brett said, having the lead in most of those games, and then the fourth quarter come around, and mind you, the defense was on the field 90% of the time because our offense couldn't go nowhere. But even though you look good the first half, the second half looked like it was a complete 180.
Right, and I pretty much agree with all of you guys, and that's kind of what it was. Is
as you should.
Well, hey,
you know what we're talking about, yeah.
That's right. If I let you go first, I can just steal your ideas and hop on it at the end. No, it's you could cite a situation where the team wasn't getting better. It didn't seem like they were responding to Chudzinski, and he wasn't making the adjustments in himself or in his staff to make this happen. But the reason I asked this question this way, knowing that we all wouldn't have fired him if we had the opportunity to make the decision, is because everything we mentioned, everything we said here, was not said by Banner or Haslam to the public. Nothing. There was no actual reason given. They said they made a mistake, they wanted to move on, they wanted to find the person. They didn't tell us why. They absolutely did not say it was because players weren't responding to him, because he lost those games at the end of the season, because we thought his fourth quarter wasn't strong enough, because he was making mistakes at play calling. I can respect that if they say, look, we thought we had a guy that was more together than he was. He's got all the things we thought he had. He's got all the mental and analytical and charismatic abilities that we wanted in a head coach, but he didn't have the package ready yet for us, and we thought he did. But they didn't say that. They just said they made a mistake. And the reason that bothers me is because we have to trust them again. We have no choice, but to trust them again for another coach. And the guy they picked this time is not going to be a tenured, Gruden type of guy. It's going to be a guy that we're all going to say, what? Why? Who? How? Because no great coach is coming here. You can forget the Cowers, you can forget the Trestles, you can forget anybody with a name. They're not going to come here. It is a dismal situation to walk into. Little talent, no support from upstairs. You've got 1 year, or not but you can think you've got a year to turn a team around and make them a big-time winner, not just winning some games.
Yeah, and that's a really great point, Mike. I think that if you're the ownership of a professional franchise and you come in, you buy a team, you fire the coach, you hire your guy, and then you give him a one-and-done year, and then you can't even come and face your fan base and give them the reason of why this happened.
Specific.
That's the guy that they wanted. And if they thought that they were going to get some other coach, some better coach this season, the top two guys already crossed you off their list. I was not for Josh McDaniels by any means. There were a lot of people that were for him. I don't like him. I'm tired of waiting for the next Belichick and hiring the Belichicks off of his tree. We had to sit through Romeo Crennel. We had to sit through Eric Mangini. We had to watch Josh McDaniels go and destroy Denver. While he did win a playoff game, he did ship Pro Bowl players off that team. I.e. Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall. Those are guys that the team would never give up. But he had to because they weren't respecting him because he was a little Belichick crony with this huge ego that he didn't earn. Belichick earned his ego. Whether or not he cheated or not, Bill Belichick's going down as one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, without a doubt. And I'm just tired of us trying to pay some guy to run another guy's system. When's the next intelligent coach going to come through and break out of the box with his new scheme? And what can he bring? And, when you already lost out on the top two candidates this year, you got your regime that brought in their guy and then just dropped a bomb on the whole city. It's like, how are we supposed to sip the Kool-Aid again next preseason? Like, oh, the Brownies are ready to go, man. Johnny Football's here. Yep. Whatever, God forbid. I don't want to get into the draft. We got plenty of time to talk about that stuff. But it's just a real shock. This is not what you expect a new owner to come into your city after he goes through all that drama with his own business with the Flying J. Then we pass a bill to donate how many millions of dollars to the team?
A lot.
And then this is what they do to us. I mean, the problem with the Cleveland Browns is the fans. We are a double-edged sword because we support garbage year in and year out because we just want to taste a victory so bad. A winning season is going to feel like a Super Bowl victory to this city if we can win more than 8 games. And we want it so bad that we support them and we sell out every game. They're already maximized their profits on sellouts. Why are they going to put out a winning team out on the field when it's not going to bring them any more money? They're just going to have to shell out more in contracts, so it's going to be more in costs against their profit. And this is where my conspiracy theory comes in, okay? What did Jimmy Haslam walk into? He walked into a successful business. Not a business about winning football games, but a business of making money and selling tickets and selling out games. And that's what the Cleveland Browns do. Now, we always joke and we make this comment to defend people that, well, we can't get any worse. But even if we do get better, it's not more money for them. So what I'm telling you is I want you to chew on this for a minute. Jimmy Haslam, a guy who owns a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers, our arch rival of any sport, okay, comes in, buys the Browns, and basically dismantles our franchise is what they do. You've never seen a first-round pick get traded that same year. I don't care if the Trent Richardson trade looks good now. Do we all agree that it was a smart move? Yeah, we do, because Trent Richardson is garbage in Indy. Is he going to be better next year? We don't know. So right now they're getting a pat on the back saying that was a good move. We got a first pick for Trent Richardson. So you dismiss that, okay? Then they come and they fire the head coach. Seriously, think of some of the money that could have been invested in Jimmy Haslam to buy the Browns, to turn us or to keep us where we were at. And what is that? That's two victories for the Steelers a year against a divisional opponent. Now, while that's not going to guarantee the Steelers get to the playoffs every year as they did this year, name another team out of the other 31 teams that is going to get a 2-win advantage in their division. So you got to look at the roots of where Jimmy Haslam came from, see if there was any kind of collusion like, hey, go buy the Browns. We'll feed you some of this money into the back door that nobody will ever know about. Keep them garbage, keep them abysmal, and at least the Steelers are going to get 2 wins out of it a year.
And as you said, it's a profitable business no matter what.
No matter what, he's turning out money. So it's win-win for them.
And it's probably one of the few areas in the country that will support football regardless of the product put on the field.
Absolutely.
I don't see. When you were making a statement about does the fans need an explanation, I don't need an explanation. Because he fired him, he's saving him face. Because now, if we came out and said, look, he was worthless as a head coach, he didn't have the locker room intact, he made poor coaching decisions, now who's going to hire that guy? At least now he has a chance to get hired by somebody else. But if it would have came out, in the press conference, all this bad stuff, nobody would hire him.
Well, I get what you're saying, but and you're saying to respect Shevchenko, but
of course.
you got to respect the people that are paying you,
Yeah,
and that's
but-
us. And at least give us. You don't have to give us specifics like whether there's 2 games where he fucked up or whatever, or even if it was like you said Dale, you heard the rumor that he didn't let go of Little and Whedon or whatever. They don't have to say specifics in that sense, like this game, this time, but they can say there was a pattern of times where we could tell he needed a few more years before he was a head coach, and there were things that we thought he was ready for, but that he wasn't, and they could even go a little bit more specific wise, but they kind of said we made a mistake, we're gonna get a new guy.
Well, that's all I needed. Was Dave came out and they were honest and say, hey, we made a mistake.
Great.
Well, you know what? You should expect more.
Why should I expect more? Because this is what
because it's a new regime.
Yeah.
It's a guy who
This
just
is what
bought a
they bring
franchise
to
for
the
$1
table.
billion.
This is what they bring to the table every single year.
But do you know what he said when he came in here, that he was going to establish stability? He said that specifically.
Okay, that's fine, but he didn't
Tell me
say
why now.
It says stability in what area?
Well,
in the head coaching area?
the head coaching
in
area.
the players
Just
area?
as a team, as a whole,
Because,
just
you know what I'm
we're
saying?
going to have
He
some
didn't
solidarity.
specifically
We're not going to have a new coach every 2 years.
Right, and Brett, I know that we've talked a number of times about how we get coaches, we kick them out of here, we get new coaches, we kick them out of here, and you've said multiple times that you cited I think the Steelers and a few other places where they have a coaching system that stays intact for a while. And again, none of us wanted to get rid of Chud, but is there any situation that you can imagine that you would think that this, outside of some conspiracy thing, like you were saying, Dale, or some other behind the scenes stuff, like we were saying with Bynum banging a coach's wife, outside of something crazy like that, is there really a situation in your mind where a coach can fail so miserably in his first year with a team that wasn't expected to win?
No.
I mean, nothing.
I can't. I mean, you're giving the reins to a team that has been dismal for years, and you're expected. As a fan, I don't expect them to turn around first year. I like the whole, let's see what we have here, and what Dale said, let's keep the players here, let's see what we have this year, and take over. Now, this is not even his team. This is past, regime's, players. So he hasn't even time to put his own players in the right place. And to do it after 1 year, and you can't give me we made the wrong decision back in January a year ago. And I'm like, now you want to think of that now?
Well, they probably thought that after we were losing all those games.
Well,
I always am the one of consistency. We have to keep consistency. We can't always do 2 and done. Now it's 1 and done. We're going to keep doing this over and over and over again until we somehow finally figure out how the fuck we got it right.
Well, next
and then
year,
when we get it right, they'll be like, well, fuck, how do we do this? How do we get to this point?
Next year, they're instituting a whole new system. You get 1 game. If you win that game,
We're starting a new
you
coach
stay.
each week.
Right. Next week, it's a new coach. If you win, you
Coaching.
stay.
It's a coaching controversy, not a quarterback controversy.
Yeah.
You know how you know something was up? When all of our quarterbacks went down and they didn't go out and get nobody.
They didn't.
Season was already a wash.
No, it wasn't. We still was able to come back.
Not after Hoyer. We were in it at that point. We were all talking
And we
playoffs.
did not go out and get anybody. We hired some dude off YouTube.
He didn't even start, though. He didn't even
Who
play.
cares? But we went out and got 2 guys.
Who would you have wanted to go get? Jamarcus Russell?
No, Freeman was out there when Hoyer went down. We didn't even offer nothing for him. If you wanted to have a winning team,
Freeman couldn't beat out Christian Ponder as a quarterback.
Yeah, I
There's
he
a
started
reason-
when the first game he came in there.
Because Ponder was injured. He had no choice. They threw him out there. They even
could have went out and got somebody. Something was up when they didn't go out and get nobody. Goodbye.
Wow!
Man, but 1 second left.
Ted Ginn.
13 points in 1 second.
It could happen.
No kidding.
That is the one. That's one of the really cool things about the NBA, though. It could be like 4 seconds left, and people can still put points on the board.
Let's do it.
All right, so Cavaliers, wine and gold. Luol Deng is now part of this team, and I think, do we all agree, a very nice pickup.
Great move.
All right.
Great move. Cost us a couple draft picks. Second or third, I don't even know if there's a third round in NBA draft picks, but Name the last time a quality player got drafted in the second round of an NBA draft. So.
And the last time we actually drafted a quality player other than Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
Well, no, I mean Tristan Thompson. Don't be negative. I mean Tristan Thompson has been.
I was mainly saying
pickup.
about Anthony Bennett, the one that we drafted and everybody was so high on. And
Well, Anthony Bennett, I think
anybody
will
was
come
high on
around,
that
but I mean
well, the Cavs were.
Anthony Bennett might have a 12-year career here, and the first few years are going to be rough. He's going to have to learn how to achieve things at this level, but. He's good. He'll be good, and I think he's
good.
No, he won't. No, he won't be good.
He'll be good.
You know what? You want to know why?
We'll see what happens.
You want to know why his trade went down? Because Grosjean had to save his ass from the draft pick he had.
Well, Deng does play the same position, so yes. And this is actually LeBron's position. Actually, the first time we really filled it with a quality player.
We got to talk about LeBron.
Oh, I'm just bringing that up
talk
because
about
I think it's the official end of an era since we've never replaced that position. I know LeBron played a lot like a point guard, but technically he's a small forward, and we've got a new small forward.
We're renting a small forward. Let's put it that way.
He'll be here. I think that one of the fun things to do with this guy, because he's so interesting, is kind of look back at his past. He was from, and I don't have it right in front of me, but I think it was like from Sudan. His family, his dad was actually like the minister of transportation or something like that. So they had some money in a poor, tough area, and his dad, while working in the government, moved his family to Egypt to make them safer. So it's like you work in a country, but it's so bad you get your family out. I don't know if he commuted or how he did it, but Luol Deng lived for a long period of time in Egypt and grew up there. There was some British school that he got into and was able to play basketball. He got noticed and that kind of thing, and finally he ended up in the States.
It's a pretty good backstory there, Mike. Well done. Well researched.
Thank you. So, once he got to the NBA, there was a decent amount of time with the Bulls where everybody thought he would kind of just retire there.
I think it's a solid move. we got a guy named Bynum. We were going to lose him anyways. We tried to make some moves for Gasol. That wasn't going to fall through. We went out. We got a player that we needed, a position that we needed, and aside from Luol Deng being an averaging 20 points a game and working the glass, the one thing he brings is what we don't have, and that's defense.
Yep.
We need somebody that plays defense on this team. Otherwise, you're not going to beat anybody if they're scoring 108 points on you. But 13-23 right now. If we were in the West, we'd probably be done. But since we're in the East, the number 8 seed is only at 16 wins. So if we can get this together, we're on a 2-game winning streak right now. Starting to see waiters come out and really shoot the ball well. If him and Kyrie could coexist, I really like the future from them. Also, C.J. Miles taking his game to the next level. Yeah. I was actually at that game where he hit 10 threes, 10 for 12 from behind the arc. It was unbelievable, unlike anything I had ever seen. So they got a big test tonight. I think they're in, not Utah. Where are they at tonight? Sacramento, which is not a big test. Sacramento is a rebuilding team. I think we should be able to fade them. So, looking forward to the run to the All-Star break. Second half, I can see it's a 7-8 seed.
The deal, we're 3 games away from being in the playoffs. So 3 nice victories, a couple losses from other teams, and that's how close we are with the bulk of the season ahead of us.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so it's time for our favorite part of the show. The raising of beers. We got a small amount of time. This time, literally a little bit of time. We're going to toss it over to Brett.
Actually, I think we're all just going to do it together, right?
Raising of the beer. I got my beer in a nice little Ohio State.
It's going to be to another 100 shows, and it's TDB 20.
Show 101.
It is show 101, man.
I miss you guys.
Yeah, I think we're
What are you doing with all your time?
How'd it go? Wasted.
Married, having babies,
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
being sick, working.
Sick. Yeah, he's hungover. He's like
Working.